Hello and welcome to my home. My name is Tiffany and I'm the dyer and maker behind Latah Valley Fiber Co. On this week's episode, I talk about my cardigan that I'm working on, as well as a crocheted market bag. And I'm also going to show you a few completed sewing projects. So if that interests you, let's get started. How are you guys doing this lovely August the 10th? We are enjoying the hot weather still here in Eastern Washington, and summer's in full swing. So I have been able to do a bit of knitting and crocheting, as well as a little bit of sewing. So I thought I would show you a few of those items. The first thing is my crocheted market bag, and I have done this pattern before. It is I think it's the summer harvest market bag. It's by stitchberryblog.com. So you can check it out there, and it's the crochet market bag. That's a simple enough name. I am knitting this out of Barocco Modern Cotton DK, and this is the color 6624. It's beautiful. It's like this ocean blue. So I am knitting this. This is in DK, but the pattern called for worsted, so I just doubled the DK, and this is where I'm at. So you do a single crochet for 8 rounds and before you start this pattern, and it's a double crochet cross. So, or a cross double crochet is what it's actually called, which is how you get this pattern going at a slant. So I really like this cotton. It's very soft, and yet seems like it will be very durable for the market bag. So I am about halfway done with the patterning before I start with the handle, and then once I do the handle, it'll be done. So I'm about halfway, I think. And I've been working on this in tandem with a few other projects, namely my cardigan. So this market bag is for a customer who helped me pick out the color and everything at my local yarn shop. I don't carry cotton in my shop yet, so I was at my local yarn shop, Paradise Fiber, finding this Barocco modern cotton. So I will link this down below if you're interested in the color. It's very beautiful. Their Barocco has a lot of different cotton colors, which it was really hard to choose from. There were so many, but my friend was very specific on what she was going for, and so I think we nailed it. She loves it anyway, so that's all that matters, right? Okay, my next project is my cardigan, and this cardigan is the Potomac Worsted by Knitting McPurley, and you can find her here on YouTube. I'll link everything down below in the description. I am using my own hand-dyed yarn for this project, and I'm using my very own hand-sewn knitting bag. All right. This project is super relaxing. The pattern's very easy to follow. I've not had a hiccup at all where I've had to pull back. That usually happens, but not this time. This time it's very simple. And not sure if this was cast on in last episode. I don't feel like it was. I might have cast on right after that, but this I've been working on for about 2 weeks. So yeah, it's getting there. This is the back, about your shoulder area, around the neck up here in the shoulder. And then this is, I have put my sleeve stitches on hold. So I've split for those. This is the sleeve, which is reverse stockinette, which is basically a pearl patterning on the sleeve. And then here's the front panel that is stockinette. So it's very fun, very easy. Both sleeves are on waste yarn. So now I am knitting. Oh, I'm in the middle of a row. That's helpful. Oh, it's because I ran out of yarn and I needed to add another ball. So with this one, this is my worsted base yarn, 100% superwash in the colorway Oldie but Goodie. And it's this lovely colorway of gray. And I am, so I've used a complete skein, which means I needed to attach another ball to this before continuing. And what I am doing is I have 2 working balls that I'm going with. So I'll knit and then purl back and then pick up the yarn from the other ball and then knit and purl back and then pick up the other. That way, there's no pooling. So if there's, this is dyed naturally, and as much as you try to get it even across the entire skein, there is some wiggle room for error and that not happening. So the best way to get around that is to alternate skeins of yarn. And as you can see, there's no pooling with that method. So I'm pretty happy with that. I can tell that it's not all solid gray, but it looks like that's how it's supposed to be. And I like it. So that's kind of what I think that's called helical knitting, where you knit with 2 skeins of yarn that are the same color and you stagger it so that you don't get any pooling. So that's kind of what I'm doing with that. And I'm in the section here where I need to have 2 inches here in the underarm, and then there's some waist shaping. So I'm almost to that, and then it's just a lot of knitting and purling to do the full back and front sides. So, but it's coming along, and I'm really happy with it and the process so far. I am so glad that I'm knitting with my own hand-dyed yarn, because I get to experience the quality of yarn and the variation in the color, and I get to problem solve and figure out how to make it cohesive. So I'm glad that I'm using my own yarn for a lot of different reasons. And I had a customer message me and ask about what color would be good for her sweater and how she could get around the color pooling or possibly pooling. And so I had an example of how to do that personally. And so I just shared that with her, and she said, oh yeah, that makes total sense. So yeah. And these are the pockets. So I knit these up. There's 2 of them. And I use this as my gauge swatch. And I was spot on with my gauge. So I just went ahead and cast on the sweater. So that is my sweater so far. I should have a lot more in a couple weeks finished on that. And so those 2 projects I am pretty I'm working on mainly. I don't have a pair of socks yet, although I do have 2 customers that have ordered socks, so I do need to get started on those. But I have found with crochet that my hand starts to hurt after a while, so I switch from the crochet to the knitting, and then I'll knit for a while, and then I'll go back to the crochet. So I'm getting 2 projects done at once. I really can't complain. Okay, so for my next finished objects, I have a few sewn items. My niece is turning 4 in a couple days, and I usually sew her pajamas or a dress. So this year I went to Joann Fabric, and I could not decide. They had a lot of cute fabric there. I couldn't decide on what one. So I settled on 3 fabrics, and I bought a yard and a half of each, and they were having, I think it was 30% off. So I thought, oh, that's okay. That's a good deal. So I sewed her 2 dresses and a jumper, and I'll show you the dress first, or one of the dresses. this pattern is called the Be Curious by Ellie and Mac. And they do digital patterns, and then you print out the pattern onto paper, tape it together, and then cut out the size that you need. So that's what I did here. I actually, so I have sewn my niece several dresses. So I just, instead of reprinting out all that paper and cutting out, I just followed the pattern for increasing and just cut extra. So I'm sure it'll fit her. This is a very cute pattern. You can have it with the ruffle here at the bottom, which I did with this one, or the second one I didn't do the ruffle, I just hemmed it. And then this has a over the bodice, it is lined. So I lined it with this sparkly fabric, which I then used on a jumper. And isn't that fun? Look at how it sparkles. So this jumper I modified from the pattern by Ellie and Mac, the Grow With Me pajamas. So basically I took the pajama bottoms, and they have a pajama top that goes with it, and I made it sleeveless, and I attached the shirt and the pajama bottoms together here to make, and added elastic to make it a jumper. So she'll slip in over through here, and then I'm hoping the shirt, because this is how I think in my mind, the shirt will lay over the elastic and be kind of cute. I don't know, it's not really doing it here, but that's what I'm hoping for anyway. I hemmed up the arm sleeves, the arm side, there's no sleeves, and then I just added a neckline to it as well. So that is the jumper. And jumpers are really in these days. In fact, I sewed myself a jumper last summer. So, okay. The next dress is the same one, the Be Curious dress. And I used this fabric. This is a faux linen fabric. And as you can see, I did the sleeves the same. It does have a full sleeve option, but I like this this cap sleeve, flared fluffy sleeve option myself. So that's what I put on both of the dresses. And the fabric I used is a faux linen. It looks very much like linen. It doesn't behave like linen. Linen is very wrinkly, and I knew that that's not going to work for a little girl. You don't want a dress that wrinkles easily. So yeah, it's polyester is the material, but it has the crotch hat or the cross hatch of linen. So I think it'll be great. In fact, if it wears well, I might make myself a dress out of it, because it's just, it's really beautiful. So, and this is just a gray. So they didn't have, I was wanting to make her a black dress. And all the black linen was actual linen. And so when I compared that to this fabric, it was very wrinkly, and I would scrunch it up and it would stay there and just be a wrinkled mess. So high hopes for this fabric. And then I just added a button to the back. And yeah, it's very cute. I really like it a lot. So that's the Be Curious dress by Ellie and Mac. And this is, the fabric is a cotton polyester, and it's very much knit. It's a knit fabric, so it will also wear very well, but it's a little bit more wrinkly because of the cotton. So while I was making those, I have all this extra fabric. Well, not a lot, but some. So I decided to make for each outfit, I made a scrunchie that would go with her hair and go with her outfit. So yeah, that was kind of fun. And I just found this pattern on YouTube, so I will post it down below in the description, the pattern that I used for the scrunchies. They were actually super easy and fun to do. So that's it for the knitting, the crochet, and the sewing. I do want to walk you through the different weights of yarn. I had a question on that, and so I thought I can do that. That would be something easy to walk you guys through. So let's do that next. All right, I have in front of me my full range of weights of yarn that I carry in my shop. And it goes to the smallest, which is lace, to fingering, to sport weight, DK, worsted, bulky, and super bulky. And I thought I would show you on a scale. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet, but show you on a scale the different weights and how that looks and plays. So lace weight is by far the most different of all of the weights, because generally speaking, when you buy a skein of yarn, one skein, it's generally going to be 100 grams. This is 100 grams. This DK is 100 grams. This alpaca sport is 100 grams. This fingering weight, it's 100 grams. Now, the yardage varies because of the weight, but this lace weight is 50 grams. And it has 437 yards. The one closest to this in yardage is fingering weight, and it is 437. So these two are the same yardage wise. This is 50 grams of yarn and this is 100. So this one is by far different from the rest. So my bulky yarn is 100 grams and my super bulky is 100 grams. But the bulky is 109 yards and the super bulky is 44 yards. So there's quite a bit of difference just in the bulky part of it, the bulky section. DK and worsted. Worsted is 219 yards. DK is 246 yards. So they're relatively close, but size-wise, they're slightly different. But they're both 100 grams. Sport weight is pretty similar to fingering weight. It's 291 yards. Oh no. Nope. Sport weight is over here. Oh yeah. So sport weight's in between DK and worsted. I knew that. Goodness, my brain. Yeah, so it's not similar to fingering weight. It's more DK-ish. DK and worsted. Now there's also a worsted Aran weight before you get into the bulky. I don't currently carry that that weight of yarn because this the worsted that I carry is somewhat considered worsted or Aran, worsted to Aran, somewhere in there. So I don't know what the percentage is on that, how many yards those both are. I know what the worsted is, 219, but I don't know if the Aran is like 200 or 215. I have no idea. But I don't currently carry that, so why talk about it at the moment? Okay, so I'm going to show you a visual because this is kind of hard from this perspective to show you the finer details. So I'm going to move the camera, get up close, and show you the difference in the weights. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it now. So let's do that. Okay, let's see if we can make this work. Okay, so over here I have the lace weight, fingering weight, DK, sport weight, worsted weight, bulky, and super bulky here in this lime green. I have a measurer here, and I just thought I would loop through. This is kind of a, when I'm spinning, I will use this to check the weight of my freshly spun yarn. And this is how many wraps per inch are in this section here. So as you can see, lace weight is 16 to 18 wraps per inch. Fingering is 14, sport is 12, DK is 11, worsted is 9, Aran is 8, bulky is 7, and super bulky is 5 to 6 wraps per inch. So I thought I would show you, as best I can, how that looks next to each other. It's one thing to look at them in this beautiful hank and then go, quickly lose what that looks like. So I'm going to attempt this. I don't know if it'll work. Maybe. So there's the lace weight. There's the lace weight. You can see how thin it is. The fingering weight that I'm going to use is a single ply fingering weight, which is similar. You know what, this is not actually going to work because how am I going to feed all of these through here? I don't know. Let's try this. Let's try a tape measure, and maybe this will have enough of a contrast. Oh, you know what I should do? Since I have the bulky over here, I should do the bulky over here. Okay, so that's super bulky. I don't know, does this even make sense? I don't know. You can't really get it close. I thought you could, but you can't. And then, of course, lace weight will be down here. Okay. So, I don't know that you can see very clearly how that visually looks. The lace weight is pretty small in comparison to the rest. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that little spiel about weights of yarn was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. Or you can also put in your 2 cents about the different weights of yarn. So we'd love to hear about it. So that's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a fun 2 weeks, what's remaining left of your summer. We are going to be very busy finishing up summer here before school starts in September. So, but I will see you in 2 weeks. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time.